Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Jay-Z Bottom Lip, and today we're going to be making a tier list. Since this was a new patch recently, bringing Peacemaker and Janet to the game. Janet not being in access until later until March. I wanted to do a tier list for this game, and then I'm going to do a cameo tier list when Janet comes to the game. I believe it's like March 27th or something like that. But assuming that every character in this tier list is using their best cameo, then we're going to make a tier list off that as well. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is that there's only 3 different tiers in this game. There's going to be S plus, and there's going to be S, and then there's going to be A. In my opinion, since I've been playing every character in this game, and I feel like I can play every character at the highest level, I think that my opinion is valid. But also, I just been kind of just neglecting playing in tournaments right now just because of how stale the game is. But I think I'm coming back to start playing competitively. But that's just something to throw in there. But if you guys can like, comment, or subscribe, and also leave some feedback, even if it is, a dislike, or even if you feel like what I said is incorrect, which is fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. I would love to hear what you guys think as well. All right, let's get right into this video. So first, let me go ahead and change the tier list to S, and then A. These are going to be your tiers in this game. The reason being is because every character in this game is valid, in my opinion. Every character is really good. But I wanted to separate 3. And I want you guys to understand basically how I'm going about them. So S plus is going to be characters that play meta, which is considered a problem. Then S is going to be really strong, but just doesn't have everything that S plus has. And then A will be great, but missing something to keep them up with other characters in this game or other players as well. So sometimes those characters can be really tough to play against other top tier characters. So again, let's get right into this video. I hope you guys like it. I'm trying not to make this video too long. And yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm gonna just go straight down the line. So Liu Kang, we're gonna put him at S plus. I think he plays the meta correctly. He also abuses the meta. He has really good stagger. He has really good pressure. You can use him with any cameo basically in the game. From what I've experienced is that if you can play the cameo against higher level players with most of the cameos in this game, or if you can play the character with most of the cameos against high level players, then you can tell that this character is really strong. Also, he has grab loops. He also has good staggers. He has good plush frames. He has a really good 4-4. Kind of stops shimmy. Neutral ducking, which can create shimmy. I made a whole video about that. He's a really, really strong character. I think he does everything that you would want him to do. I wouldn't say he's balanced, but he's very well rounded, especially for those who want to get into the game, the players who are into the game, those who's trying to compete, those who can't find a main. This is a good character, even just to have as a side pocket. Kung Lao, I'm going to put Kung Lao at S. I think this character is really strong. I think his playstyle is very bland, especially what he wants to do. And I'm not saying it as as something that's like a fault, which would be like something that's kind of hindering him. But I think what really is that like his game plan is very bland, like I said, where he just wants to do 2-1. He wants to do back 3, which essentially can steamroll you if you're not paying attention, or if you just allow him to do such. If you don't have a good armor break, or if you don't have good pressure, then he's going to establish his over yours, and it's going to be really easy to open you up. 2-1 is a really good shimmy string. He has so many good strings where he can just kind of just like steamroll you. The only thing that, in my opinion, that I think he lacks is probably like a good character that can kind of set him up for this, abusing meta like all the other S plus characters, which would be like Kung Lao. He can use Kung Lao hat, but he doesn't really benefit off of it. I think just because his armor is really good, you want to capitalize off of it because you're going to be using it so much. And then I think Goro just makes it safe, and then also makes it plus where he can gel into his next move is really strong. But it's just not what it's not meta basically, but it is really strong. And again, all these characters on this tier list can win a tournament. All these characters can beat you. All these characters can steamroll you. All these characters can be a problem to a certain extent. Raiden. Putting Raiden at S plus. Raiden has, again, everything that you would want in a character. He's really strong. He's well rounded. He has really good staggering pressure. He has really good shimmy strings. He has a really good overhead. The overhead is safe. His lows is safe. He can do down poke into special move, which a lot of characters sometimes can't even do. He can do it well, and he can capitalize off it and make it gel and then go into more. He has an EX1 that's -12 that only a select few characters in this game can punish. Which is like a handful of characters, and even then those characters don't get much off of it except for like a special move or such. But I believe Tanya gets it in the corner and sometimes mid screen, depending if she has the ring around her head. But again, he just safe on basically everything. He has a really good flow chart that really can't be stopped. He's just overall a great character. Geras, I'm going to put Geras at. People are probably going to hate me for this, but I'm going to put Geras at A. And the reason why I'm putting Geras at A is because if you're playing against certain characters, he just gets steamrolled real easy because he doesn't have pokes that really can compete with other characters in this game. And then on top of that, his armor isn't that great, so it's easy to break. He also has something where he has to rely on his cameos for the most part. There's a few characters in this game that just have to rely on their cameos because they capitalize a little more off their cameo, and their cameo keeps them safe. Plus, or it just allows them to create a different mind game, which is really good. And assuming that you're playing his best cameo, even then it's just really hard for this character to get started if he's playing against another aggressive character. But again, if he does get started, he becomes very strong. I think if he gets started, he becomes a problem, especially when he has the I forgot the hourglass. Once he has the hourglass and stuff like that, he can break combos with one bar. He can go for all these crazy combos, extensions that allow him to with Kung Lao and stuff like that. He's got great setups. He's a great character in my opinion. But the only thing that I think it really struggles is his poke. His pokes are really what kills him, which allows him to give up his turn more than often or more than usual. And I think that's what's hindering him. I believe if he had better pokes, he would definitely go to S plus or S, just depending on what he can do. But I'm gonna put him at A for now. If you want to beat me up, that's totally fine. Li Mei. I think Li Mei is a really strong character. I would have to put this character at A, and the reason why I'm putting her at A is because she doesn't have good pokes as well, but she has really good stagger pressure. She has really good plus strings, and she's high risk, high reward. That's not really particular in this game to see a character that's high risk, high reward, because cameos kind of just make you safe. But the most she gets off of damage would be Scorpion, and Scorpion doesn't necessarily make her safe. So I think that's really what I mean by high risk, high reward, because if you do block her overhead, you can flawless block the second part. Even if you don't flawless block the first part, and you can punish her. And I think that's really what's high risk, high reward. And assuming that everyone is playing this character or the opponent is a high level player, assuming she's overall a really good character. Like I said with Geras, if she had better pokes, she would be, or long ranging poke, she would be a lot better. She would probably move up to S plus or S. There's nothing else that really is holding this character back except for the fact that she doesn't have good pokes, which allows other characters kind of abuse her with spacing, which would be like any character with a good down 3, down 4. That's really what hinders her. And her simple fact that she can't really like space you in neutral in a sense, but she does have a good projectile, really hard to punish. But other than that, like it's just really hard to play her. You'll be doing a lot more baiting than actually like abusing your turn as if you were Johnny. I think she's a really good character though. Really good character to learn, especially with cameos. So like going from Serena and you want to get better with cameos, I recommend learning her because she teaches you how to use your cameos and how to extend off of them, which is really cool and really fun as well. Kitana, I'm going to put Kitana at S. I think Kitana is a well-rounded character as well. I think she goes 5-5 with damn near the whole entire roster. She's a really good character. She's the only thing that, in my opinion, that she lacks is her clutch factor. She doesn't really have a strong clutch factor. She's one of those characters that if she has a life lead, she's really strong, and it's really hard to get close to her, and she can close out the round easily. If she does have the life lead, she can, I wouldn't say she necessarily can steamroll you, but she can put you in a not in the blender either, but more or less she can just keep her turn, especially with those fans and everything like that. When you're looking for certain ones, they all have a certain way you can punish them and go about it. But if you're anticipating one of them, then something else might come and it might throw you off. I think she's really strong though. She does great damage just off of B&Bs alone. If you do extended combos in the corner, assuming you're using jacks, she does a lot of good damage, and she has setups too, which is unique about her in this game. And once you learn how to do them, I think also too, she just has guaranteed damage, especially with jacks, where she just comes up off the ground and then she just guaranteed hits you, which is really strong. And then again, if you're assuming that you're using jacks, she can get some grab combos in basically with jacks when she EX her move, so she can usually close out a round really easily. So you don't really want this character to have the life lead over you basically. Mileena, I'm also going to put Mileena at S, and the reason why I'm putting her at S plus is because, man, I've been enjoying this character. The character is really fun to play. Also, too, I just feel like she was lacking when I played her. I think she has a little skill gap when it comes to normals and neutral, and I don't have that neutral to play her sometimes because I get impatient and I want to zone sometimes or space, but her projectiles don't go full screen, and I think that's really what's killing me about playing her. But other than that, I love this character, love her damage output, I love how her combos look, I love how to extend her combos. I enjoy this character, and I'm pretty sure there's other players out there that's way better than me, that's doing way better than me as well with that character in particular. And it's just I'm becoming a fan, and I'm also just becoming like a believer that this character is S plus every time that I see this character. She has really good staggers. She gets Oki off of everything. She has a lot of good plus strings. She has a really good down one. She has a good overhead. She has a sweep that's plus. She just a really strong character, like a really strong character. I feel like if you're into female characters or if you just want to learn the game, she's definitely one of those characters next to Li Mei that you will want to learn, and it will help you understand the game a lot more. Tanya, I'm going to put Tanya at S. The reason why I put her at S is because she's well-rounded as well. She goes 5-5 with the whole entire roster. She doesn't really have any bad matchups. She has ones that can be a little tougher than others, which would be like Baraka. What's another hard one? I think Reiko is probably going to be her hardest matchup. Reiko. I also think Johnny would be probably her third hardest matchup. Well, not just third in particular, but like he can be her first or whatever it could be. But those three characters just give her a tough time because they have an answer for it. Basically, certain things that she would like to do and kind of can stop it, which would be her forward two or getting close to you. Like Reiko can zone her, and Baraka just can oppress her if he wants to, and he can break her armor, and is a problem. But other than that, I think she goes 5-5 with the whole entire roster. She can steamroll you. She has good buttons. She has good staggers. She has a move that can break your armor. She can kind of just stop your game plan if you allow her to. And she has really good staggers, which allows her to grab you more than usual than any other character in the game. I think I grab more with her than any other character in this game because her grabs kind of leave you in her forward two range. So it's easier to get caught by that. So you have to respect her sometimes. But yeah, I really feel like she doesn't have any flaws to her. Maybe like her down one is not that good, or her down four. Other than that, she's really good in my opinion. Scorpion. A lot of people gonna hate me for this, but I'm putting Scorpion at S plus. Scorpion can negate, or he doesn't have to necessarily deal with certain things in the game just because he has a teleport. So if you're situating, Kung Lao had, or if you want to do something in particular, he can just kind of come behind you, especially if you're using his best cameo. And then on top of that, even if you're not using his best cameo, you can use any cameo to basically counter whatever it is that you don't want to deal with. He has really good down pokes, down threes, good staggers. He has really good buttons as well. He has a forward three, I believe is 9 frames, or at least it's 10 frames, which is really strong. He really necessarily needs that, especially against players that like to match after certain strings. In my opinion, I know people are probably going to kill me and say he's not S plus. He doesn't have no mix up. You don't need mix ups to be really strong in this game. I just think that this character just literally has everything, and he's going to open you up, especially with 1-2, 4-3, 2-1, and just being able to teleport and thinking that you can anti him, which you essentially can. But if you don't do it correctly, he will get a full combo. And I think he has good resets. He has good moves where he can chip you out. He can close out a round. I think that was one of his biggest problems in MK11. It was kind of hard to close out a round, so you had to use Death Spin, but Death Spin like kind of stopped you from being able to use like the teleport cancel that he really needed. So in this game, he kind of just has everything in reality. He doesn't necessarily need an overhead. I think his shimmy game is so strong that he can start grabbing you, which is going to open you up to 1-2 or just 4-3 itself. Subzero, everybody's going to hate me for this one as well. Now there is other Sub-Zeros that are really, really strong with this character that makes him look S plus, S tier, whatever it can be. But I feel like there's something that's missing about this character. He's also a very bland character, but what makes him different from Kung Lao is that he doesn't get much damage, and on top of that, his best cameos don't allow him to do certain things in particular, which is like make him safe, which essentially he can with Chameleon or Serena. But in my opinion, I think he's just missing out on damage. He's missing out on like applying a certain play style where you have to like kind of respect him. He kind of just 1-2 and then backdash. He does forward 1 backdash. He does back 3 backdash, or he just like staggers into a grab, and it's kind of obvious what he wants to do, and it becomes very like rinse and repeat or flowchart, if you may. And it just becomes really easy to punish him. Since his clone is also punishable, it's easy to like kill him if he decides to do it. And a lot of times Sub-Zeros do it without thinking. They just do it just because they get away with it a lot, which can kill you essentially. But I think that's really one of his biggest downfalls, is that like his play style is really like, it's kind of whack. And then a lot of times he kind of give up his turn after certain strings. Like a lot of times people just mash after certain strings, but you can't necessarily do that against characters with good mids or good pokes. You kind of put yourself at a disadvantage when you start poking after everything, because then you're going to have to guess when you don't get your poke and you get poked. So that's just my opinion though. Reptile, I'm going to have to put this character and I think there's still more to learn about this character. I also think he has another bland playstyle where you already know what he's going to do. The only cameo that really allows him to do what he wants to do, even though you know what he's going to do, is Striker, because it leaves him safe. It leaves him thinking that you can press a button and then he kind of punish you for it. But you can always grab him, and then on top of that, you can kind of just reset neutral or use Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero will shut down everything that he wants to do. He's going to start grabbing more and shimmying you more, which allows you to shimmy him or whip punish him as well. I also think that he just needs something else, or he just needs to be like revamped or like redesigned or something like that. I think his play style is just really like, I don't know. He becomes a problem, or he becomes cool when he goes invisible, because then he gets a little more mixed. But he just needs something else that allows him to play a certain way, where I would love to see him do more dash cancels, or even the dash cancel would be cool, but just seeing him dash back and forth would be cooler. Maybe making it even faster. I'm not sure in particular, but just something to make him a little more like stand out as a character, because we kind of just see him play in a way where it's just very bland. But you know, that's just how the characters are sometimes. Smoke, I'm definitely putting Smoke at S. Smoke is one of those characters where like, when he's about to lose, he turns on his factor where he just starts teleporting all over the place, and it kind of throws you off, and he starts going for desperate needs of like overheads and lows, and he goes invisible instantly, and it's kind of annoying. And I think that's really what carries him when he goes invisible. He's one of those characters where his overhead and his lows are reactable, but if you mix it up and you make your opponent anticipate something else, it becomes very strong. He gets really good damage as well. He has a really good down 3. He has really good moves, in particular allows him to cancel and be safe, which kind of like is crazy to me. But he gets free cancels where he doesn't have to use meter. It's strong. It's a really strong thing, and he definitely needs it, I feel like. And I think he's in a great spot as far as in where he is on the tier list. I think this character has an answer for almost every character in this game. He might have tough ones where he's not allowed to go invisible as much, but that's something that Smokes will have to learn how to do, is not always go invisible, and learn how to do it when you can, especially with Kenshi as well. They're on the same boat as far as like learning how to play without using Sento. But those two factors, which would be Sento and going invisible, is really what makes some characters go to the next spot. Rain, as I keep playing this character, I enjoy this character. I'm going to start putting this character at S. I think this character has an answer for almost every character in this game. I think he goes 5-5 with the whole entire cast. I think Sub-Zero kind of stops his gameplay, and if you start using Sub, it kind of makes the matchup a little hard. Other than that, I think he has a really good way of staying alive in clutch factor. So like when my opponent's about to close a round out, he has more chance of staying alive than any other character. He has really good zoning, counter zoning, if you may. And he has really good armor breaking moves. He has really good staggers. He has really good pressure, really good down 3, really good down 1, really good stand 1. He has a safe overhead. He has a low that's safe as well. If you cancel into something, I mean, you can punish it, but it's not reactable. Most people don't even punish it at all. I just think this character is really good. Johnny Cage, we all know that no matter how you nerf this character, he's one of those few characters. No matter how you nerf this character, you just can't nerf this character, because his buttons are really good. His design is really well. They did a good job at designing this character, a little too well in my opinion, because now this character is really strong. He can do what he wants. His oppression is really strong, or aggression, however you want to say it, is really strong. And you kind of have to deal with it. No matter who you are, you're going to have to deal with Johnny's pressure, and you're going to have to put in this situation where it's like RPS, which again makes this character really strong. He has so many different cameos that allow him to capitalize off of his pressure. No matter how many nerfs these characters get or cameos get, he has so many different answers to these characters as well. He has a parry that's like 6 frames. He has a really good 9-frame mid, which is rare to most characters in this game. He just has really good 50-50s. He has really strings where he can just leave you in a situation where it's called layers, where you have to guess. and then he gets combos off of his throws. He's just a great character, man. Like he does everything you would want him to do or want a character to do. Kenshi, we're putting Kenshi at S plus as well. He is insane. When Sento's out, you might as well just say GG. No matter how good you are, you're gonna get opened up at least once or twice with Sento. And even if you don't get opened up, you're getting grabbed and you're getting reset into Sento. So this character is insane, man. His damage output is insane with no meter doing 50%. If you do his optimal combo, he has different ways to shimmy you. He has really good pressure. He has really good strings that leave you in a situation where you think it's your turn. He also has a good backdash, which include with Johnny Cage as well. His backdash, his movement is really strong, which allows you to get shimmy more easier. And then sometimes when you think you're out of range, he can kind of just punish you with forward two or back two. Those strings are really good. And he has a consistent anti-air, and he has an answer for projectiles as well. He can kind of go through them, and then if you really want to, you can use a cameo that allows him to be safe, even though he is after breaking all projectiles. He is safe, but like if you wanted to take your turn after doing such, just use a cameo that allows you to do such. And then like, you know, figuring out how to bring out Sento in the middle of a combo is really what's strong and really what makes him viable. And it's just the mix that really comes with it. No matter how good you are, like again, like how good you are at blocking, you're gonna get opened up by that character. Baraka, we're also gonna put Baraka at S. I think Baraka is a really strong character. Even though his playstyle is bland and even though it's straightforward and you think you know what's about to happen, you're still going to get opened up. I think this character is just really strong because he has a string that looks like an overhead but it's mid-low, and it opens people up, especially when you're neutral ducking or you get shimmy, or if you're just like trying to OS something you're going to get hit by, and it breaks armor. It's so strong, and his game plan is so straightforward that it's just like unbearable sometimes, because even though you know what's about to happen, he doesn't have much buttons, so it's just going to happen, you know what I mean? And assuming that you're playing with his best cameo as well, he kind of just has insanely good pressure. I think this character can basically beat any character in this game if you allow him to. They did a good job of designing him as well. I think again he's just bland, but other than that, he's really strong in this game. Havik, I'm putting Havik at A, and the reason why I'm putting Havik at A is because his strings are very slow, his game plan is very slow, his down four is really what makes him strong in my opinion, or annoying. But other than that, when he starts going for his plus frames in the corner, he is insanely strong. Like his corner pressure, insanely strong. But when he starts playing full screen, it's kind of easy to deal with him. And then on top of that, even though he has armor on his wake up and so much of it is really slow, so you can kind of neutral jump and punish him for it. You can back up slightly, punish him for it, or you can break it depending on if he does it on wake up and you have a string that has multiple hittings. I think Tanya is probably going to be his hardest matchup, or any character that can kind of oppress him to stop him from doing anything except for down 1 or down 4. I think that's his biggest issue. And the fact that like most of his strings have gaps in them, but he can kind of bait his opponent. But if he does bait his opponent, he kind of gives up his turn. But I guess that's just the harsh reality of like certain characters in this game, that most characters in A tier, like when they finish a string, it's never really their turn. And if they mash, they kind of die for it. I think that's really what like was hard about all the characters in A, is that like they normally give up their turn unless you start OS ducking or like conditioning your opponent early game. Ashrah, we can put Ashrah at S as well, S plus. Her damage is really good. Her pressure is really good. Her corner pressure is really good. Her mid screen pressure is really good. Her heaven and hell stance are really strong. She can kind of make her wake up safe depending on the range she does it, especially when it hits at the very late. I think Goro is probably her strongest, but most people play her with Serena for damage and to keep them in the corner, or just hit confirm in the neutral, kind of like how Chameleon does. This character can also make her overhead safe, make her low safe. She has just a really good character as far as in damage and her output and the mix she has. And it's kind of deceiving. Like her 2-2 is deceiving. Her overhead is kind of deceiving just sometimes, especially when you want to counter poke and she's at a range where she can hit you with the overhead or anything like that. I think this character is really strong as well. Well-designed character. She can kind of, give everyone a run for their money if they're not ready. And her comeback factor is insanely strong. You do not want to get hit by this character when you're about to die. You have to play very respectful sometimes against her, especially in the neutral with her forward too. So like sometimes people would duck, which allows her to get in easier and stuff like that. She's a really strong character. Sindel going to S plus as well. She has an answer for almost everything in this game. I think she goes 5-5 with the whole entire cast. She has really good pressure, really good staggers. Her down 3 on hit allows her to go for a back 2, which a lot of times hit people. Her stance cancel is really good. She kind of can mix you off of it. I think she's the only character in the game that makes you up block the most and can punish you for it whenever she feels like it. I think a lot of times Sindel players just overextend. They should definitely keep it more simple, but that's just my opinion. But the most Sindel players are really strong, especially Sindel Trimmer. Oh my god, whoever you were that I played when you were playing Sindel and Trimmer, man, you did a good job. That was really dope. I enjoy watching Sindel actually alongside Mileena. I like those two characters. I don't know why, but I enjoy watching them play. I think their play styles are really dope. I think the character's really dope. I like how she gets Oki off of almost all her strings. It's just really fun to watch that character. She has really good zoning. She has an armor breaking move that kind of easy to combo into, and you can kind of OS hit confirm it as well. And she just, again, like I said, a really strong character. Shao Khan's one of those characters where he can steamroll you with the right cameo. I'm gonna have to also put this character in A. Now there is maybe a few Shao Kahns that are very strong that make him look again like S plus or S, but in my opinion, I think this character is definitely like A tier. Just because he doesn't have good pokes. A lot of times you can mash on his plus frames. And since he has a lot of highs, you can kind of just OS him with down poking him and checking him. I made a whole video on that as well. He just struggles with that. His damage output is really good. His momentum when he gets in the corner is really strong as well. But a lot of times, if you're going to use his plus frames, you want to keep your turn. So that kind of opens him up for people wanting to flaws block. Armor, or even just flaws block, but in reality, armor. And I think that's really what kills him. And he would have to start baiting more. But when he starts baiting more, he kind of loses his turn. And you don't want that. So I think that's really what his downfall is. And then on top of that, he gets zoned out easy, really easy too. But he has really good stand too. And he has really good armor wake up as far as in like startup. But as far as in the fact that it's a high, it's really his downfall. Shang, we're also going to put Shang in A tier as well. A lot of times with this character, he gives up his turn every time he does a string. He has to guess on almost all his strings. His best string is also flawless blockable. You can armor through it. You can OS duck it. It's just so many things you can do to this character that like he just doesn't have any answer for. The only thing he has good is a down 3, but even then his down 3 can kind of get stuffed by mids. He can, once he's in the corner, it's really hard for him to get out of the corner. I think he just needs something to allow him to play the game. If I could, I would definitely put this character in B tier, but the only reason I can't put this character in B tier is because he can transform at any time that he wants into your opponent. So he's definitely a big skill cap character where like Shane can be like, he can be like next to a question mark where he can, you know what, we can actually put him next to a question mark. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's add a row below and let's put him with a white one. And let's do that, right? He's the only character in the game that can be question mark just because, like, again, like I said, he can transform into the character. So if you know how to play that character, it becomes very strong. And depending on what cameo you're using, can be very strong if you're good at mirror matching or if you're good at playing 2 characters or 3 characters at once. It's just a lot to deal with in this game, or it's a lot to do with that character. But again, like I said, a lot of times you give up your turn, and I think that's his biggest downfall. And that was kind of how he was in MK11. He was a great character, but a lot of times he gave up his turn, and that's really what held him back. But yeah, he's definitely some character that you're gonna have to keep messing around with to figure out if he's good or bad or anything like that. But right now we're gonna put him next to a question mark. But yeah, Nitara, I'm gonna have to put her at S. I could even put that character at S plus if I really wanted to, because of her damage output and the fact that she can kind of play like a Dragon Ball Z character where she's all over the place. So a lot of times you want to press, but you're unsure because you kind of can get shimmy by her. Her movement is really good. Again, her damage is really good. Her float cancels are really good because they gel. She just, in my opinion, she's a really good character. I think her downfall is her damage output, and the fact of the matter is it's really hard to open up your opponent unless they, try to press a button, and from there you would just need to do your combos. But other than that, I think she's a very, very strong character. Her down force sweep is really good. You can cancel it. Is in my opinion, I think this character is very strong. There's nothing about this character that can't win a tournament, in my opinion. Reiko, I'm going to also put Reiko at S. The only reason I can't put him at S plus is because a lot of those characters at the top give him a little problem. But his zoning is really good. Honestly, I'm gonna keep him here. I don't want to go too crazy with it because then people, you think Reiko S plus, this character is definitely S plus, but I'm gonna play him on the safe side and I'm gonna put him at S for right now. But in my opinion, I'm gonna put him, you know what? He going right here. He going right there. Yep. This character does everything you want him to do. In Liu Kang's words, I'm very easy. Reiko is very easy as well. His game plan is very easy. His command grabs allow him to go for certain mixes. He has really good overhead. He has a back two that's plus, that kind of gels. He has a 1-2 that's plus, or a 2-1 that's plus. His sweep is plus. He has really good moves at checking you and your movement. His projectiles kind of break everything in the game as far as an armor or like it's something that negates it. But other than that, I think there's no really downfall to this character. He's really strong. You'll get shimmied by his forward one and thinking that a command grab's coming. A lot of times you're just going to get chipped out into zoning because you're trying to walk yourself in. So you're essentially going to get hit a lot. They're really fast and they hit most people. And his game plan is, again, like I said, is very straightforward, but it kind of just stops like Kung Lao hat, in my opinion. Kung Lao can't really use Kung Lao hat. It kind of just stops it unless you can like teleport behind him while you're using Kung Lao hat. There's really no answer to Reiko. And I hope to see how people learn to adapt to his character, or more people play that character and figure out how to play that character, because honestly, he could be a problem for almost every character here. I think his only issue is that once you get very close to him and you're playing a character like Raiden or Liu Kang or Johnny or Kenshi, it's really hard to get your opponent off you because he doesn't really have good pokes. Omni-Man, I'm gonna put Omni-Man at S. I think he's a really strong character. The fact that he has a parry, Virtual stance, or whatever it's called. I think also too that he has really good movement. His movement is really good. His damage output is really good. He get Oki off of his 2-1-2-1-2 in the air, and it allows you to go for a safe jump. And I don't know. In my opinion, I think this character is really strong, and he can be a problem as more people keep experimenting with this character. He can be an issue for everybody. So yeah, Quan Chi's biggest downfall is his pokes. That's really what hinders him. He has really good pressure though. Once he gets established, he can steamroll you. But in my opinion, this character is really hard to put an S plus or S, just for the simple fact that he doesn't have pokes. Once you get close to this character, which most characters can, it's really hard for him to get that player off of him. I think all the characters in A, he can kind of beat or give them issues and problems. But I think it's safe to put him at S. And the reason being, again, like I said, he can beat most characters or all the characters in A. And he has really good pressure. His momentum is really strong once he gets going. His damage output is decent. And his new portal allows him to go for certain mixes and stuff like that, which causes him to be a problem. Like, you just want to get out the corner. They made it a little more bearable from MKX days where it was harder, where it was just like impossible to get out the corner. But since he doesn't really necessarily get Oki into portal anymore, and then like he can keep pressuring you, it's not really an issue. And then on top of that, like I said, he doesn't have really good pokes, so it's kind of hard to like accentuate your game plan against most of the characters in this game. And I think that's really what's hindering that character. But the reason why he's an S is that he's really good at like getting in on your opponent, going for certain moves in particular. But I think that his biggest downfall is that he has really slow strings or a bad down one, and that's really what's hindering him. He has a problem with almost every character in S. I think every character in S gives him a problem, honestly. I know I say honestly a lot, but I'm gonna put him at A. Y'all can beat me up all you want. I main that character. I play a lot of sorcerer characters, and I believe that this character is really strong, but he's only as strong as you allow him to be. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Peacemaker is definitely at S. I think the only issue that this character has is good pokes. Other than that, great character. There's nothing to talk about. This character has a move that allows him to negate projectiles. He has a torpedo move. He has really good mix and strings. You will have to learn how to fuzzy. You have to learn the matchup before you can just play this character. I think the only downfall, actually, if I think about it hard enough, yeah, he has bad pokes, but the fact of the matter is that like a lot of times when he does strings, he uses eagle and that gets him killed into armor. But if he learns how to stop using that and bait his opponent into thinking that he's going to do it, he becomes a very big problem for his opponent. And his most of his go-to strings are mids, so you can't necessarily mash on this character if you like, you know, trying to OS duck. Most of the time he's going to backstep into his mids, and it's really strong. I honestly believe that Peacemaker could be S+ with the right cameo, and if he had better down poke or something like that. I try to make this video really short for you guys. I hope you guys like this video. I also hope that you guys like how my tier list looks. In my opinion, I could have went a little further with these characters and try to make it more complicated. But like I said, I want this game. I want everybody to start playing this game. So I wanted to make the tier list a little less complicated, so everyone can get a generalized idea of like what I think about all these characters. And a lot of times people think that top 5 is only top 5 up there. Those characters at the top can be a very big problem, and they all abuse the meta, in my opinion. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this tier list, guys. I would love feedback from you guys and what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And this is what I have for you guys. This is the overall tier list after the patch. Appreciate you guys watching. It's your boy Jay-Z Bond Lip. I'm out.